Right now on Live 5 News at 6, reaction from people around the Low Country and the nation as the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade. We have team coverage from around the state. Nick Reagan in the newsroom with local leaders' reaction. Melissa Rademacher's in Columbia with demonstrations at the State House. We will also hear from Ray Urena, who's in downtown Charleston, in a moment. But first, I want to go over to Cameron Bopp to see how we got to this point. Cameron?
Well, Ruff, this doesn't really come as a surprise. You probably remember it wasn't even 2 months ago that a leaked draft opinion from Justice Samuel Alito basically laid out what this overturning could look like. We just didn't know when it would happen. Now, the landmark Roe v. Wade decision was in 1973. It's a nearly 5-decade-old ruling that gives people the constitutional right to abortion. The big decision today that overturned it is Dobbs v. Jackson. That case centering on a Mississippi law that bars most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. That's a standard that violates Roe v. Wade. Justices ruled in the case the Constitution does not grant women the right to abortion, effectively overturning Roe. Now, going forward, abortion rights will be determined by individual states. Abortion rights will be rolled back in nearly a third of the country soon, with more restrictions likely to follow. Here in South Carolina, Governor McMaster says he plans to act on this immediately and, quote, protect the lives of unborn South Carolinians. Roth.
And local lawmakers are also reacting to the news. You want to go into the newsroom with Nick Reagan. Nick, you talk with a number of state representatives who'll be back in Columbia next week. What are they telling you about where we go from here?
Yeah, Ralph, I actually just got done speaking with Senator Larry Grooms. He was the chief sponsor of the fetal heartbeat bill that would ban most abortions in South Carolina. Now, that law has been tied up in the courts, but right now, Grooms tells me that he expects this time next week it will be the law of the land. But it doesn't stop there. Grooms says that lawmakers will be called back in July to further restrict abortion rights, and he would like nothing more than to see an all-out ban on abortion in this state. Now, across the aisle, I heard from Representative Crystal Matthews. She says that the state does not provide enough resources for struggling pregnant women who would otherwise turn to a doctor to terminate their pregnancy. Grooms calls that thought process a dangerous ideology.
That is one of the extreme positions the left takes, that it's best that we kill people if there's not enough tax dollars allocated to certain groups. When you see all the government benefits, someone who walks into this country for the first time has access to the greatest health care on the planet, has free education for the children. There's so many benefits that this country offers that no one else offers.
Now, I did ask Grooms if he thinks that access to additional resources would be discussed when they take up additional abortion restrictions. He made no promises, but coming up at 7, I spoke with Democrats about how they plan to fight against the supermajority in Columbia when Republicans look for that blanket ban in July.
Reagan, thank you very much. And demonstrations are continuing and demonstrators gathering across the country, speaking in support of the ruling as well as against it. Live 5's Ray Urena is in downtown Charleston at a pro-choice rally that's happening right now.
Now, Ralph, right now, that pro-choice rally just starting within the past half hour. And as you can see right behind me, that crowd has grown ever since then. Now, I'm going to step fully off to the side while my photographer Dana shows you around. Now, we're not going to zoom in too much because there is some choice language. As you can imagine, people are very passionate about this issue. We just heard not too long before you came to us that people were screaming, "My body, my choice." Now, this rally was organized by Bands Off Our Bodies, and there are signs such as "Forced birth equals violence," "My body, my choice," that is here. Now, there are representatives from Planned Parenthood who are at this rally, and Democratic nominee for governor Joe Cunningham was also here earlier. He told me moments ago that he would veto the state's heartbeat bill that Governor Henry McMaster called for if he's elected. Now, this rally is expected to go into the night, and there's a separate pro-life rally that's expected to start at around 7:30 tonight, but we'll be sure to keep you updated on air, online, and on social media on all of the demonstrations happening around the Low Country. But for now, live at Charleston City Hall, Ray Urena, Live 5 News.
Thanks, Ray. And with this ruling, state legislatures are now in control of creating the rules for abortion. Last year, Governor Henry McMaster signed a heartbeat bill but it didn't go into effect because of the Supreme Court's deliberations. Now, our Melissa Rademacher is in Columbia at the State House now. Melissa, all of that could be changing very soon.
Exactly, Raf, and that's why some people, some pro-choice people with Planned Parenthood are out here today in the wake of the overturn, in the wake of Governor McMaster announcing he'd like to enact that heartbeat bill. They are here to say that they don't agree with that. There are some people speaking over the loud sound system. They're Planned Parenthood escorts. Those are people who wear vests and escort people to and from the clinic in their cars when they come in for operations, because they're often counter-protesters at one of the 3 clinics here in South Carolina. They're here to gather with signs and encourage each other to call their representatives and express their opinions about this. In Columbia, Melissa Rademacher, Live 5 News.
The ACLU of South Carolina released a statement on the ruling today. In the statement, the interim executive director says the decision, quote, amounts to an assault on the rights of women, effectively relegating them to second-class status. This decision will force countless people to remain pregnant and have children against their will, resulting in the criminalization of essential health care throughout our country, end quote. We will be following the Supreme Court's decision throughout the evening and coming days. You can find more coverage on our website at live5news.com.